Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bill Safranek Team Podcast. In this show, we look back on our careers as educators and coaches, and we talk with people that we have taught, mentored, coached, influenced, or had a connection with over our careers. My name is Bill Safranek, and I'm a retired teacher, student council advisor, and coach from Freedom High School. Today, I am talking to James Wickemeyer.
Hey, Bill. Happy to be here.
Awesome to have you here, buddy. Co-owner and chief operating officer.
That's correct.
Of Boser Geist Brewing Company here in Easton, and former student government officer. So, James, welcome, and it's great to have you here. I thought maybe we could first start out by just going over some of the different freedom memories that maybe we had, and then lead into what you got going on over here.
Of course, yeah. So I graduated class of 2003. I remember my my ninth grade year, my parents told me, listen, James, you got to get involved with something. Your brother Dave is doing choir and the play and all the arts. Dan, at that point, was still kind of doing sports, regardless. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to do student government. And I remember my first couple weeks, I'd get up early, even earlier than normal, like 7 o'clock in the morning. We'd have our meetings in the planetarium, and I'd be like, I was like a lost cat. You know, I didn't know what to do. I didn't have any friends in this. I was just like, all right, this is interesting for me. It's a lot of fun. But I came to learn, after, weeks went by, I became more friendly with the other classmates. And then I became good friends with you as the years moved on. Some homecomings were always wonderful. I remember one time we actually, probably shouldn't say this, but we left homecoming during setup time to go jump in the pool. There was no skinny dipping because that was inappropriate, but at the same time, why not? Perfect time to go swimming after hours. Again, probably shouldn't have said that, but it's cool.
That's all right. A lot of good times.
Yeah, I remember climbing up on the roof as well.
I think I do have a memory of that.
That was
Did we do that together?
I think so.
Yep.
And looking over the courtyard.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good time.
It was a lot of wonderful times. I actually have some photos that I brought of going on trips. We did Six Flags. I did New York, and this is all student government. Actually, here's a photo of graduation student government with this guy right here and his lovely wife Stephanie. Yeah, a lot of fun times.
So, by the time you graduated, 2003, you were elected as student council treasurer.
Correct.
Okay. So, the thing that I remember about you, James, is that you were the treasurer, for student council in the whole school. But you went way beyond treasurer. I mean, you were probably the president's right-hand man, Josh Pentrelli, a good friend of yours.
I'd say so. We were, pretty inseparable.
And then you were my left-hand man.
Absolutely.
So you were nominated as treasurer, but when it came down to just about anything we did, you were the go-to guy. Anything that we needed, you came through, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah, I always try to be a team player as much as possible. Josh was probably one of my first friends. We met in sixth grade, and I'll never forget he had a shirt that said "Just Donut," and I was like, "We're gonna be lifelong friends." And you were very much a mentor to me. I looked up to you as, a role model, a mentor, and you got along, and you hung out with us young whippersnappers, and that was a cool thing. It's oh, this is a teacher that actually gets us, rather than somebody else telling us, oh, don't do this, don't do that. It was uplifting experience, to say the least.
So I had you for student council. Did I also have you for astronomy?
I believe I was a teacher's aide at one point. But it was first quarter. I believe it was a quarter block, first block.
Yeah,
Okay. Wow, it's been a minute.
I remember that.
Okay. And I remember
Special reasons, right?
I would always just get coffee and bring it in ahead of class, for you and I, and you might have written me a pass or two
To your first or second block.
for my second block. Yeah, because
You came in pretty late.
Yeah, pretty much did. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely had a lot of good memories. I mean, those were the days of homecomings, and we started decorating for homecoming days before, closed the gym down.
Just make me fog up a little bit. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, the decorating before, I mean, there were a couple times I remember taking your keys and hanging out in the planetarium, maybe a little bit after hours with some other some other student government people. It was a lot of fun. Nothing inappropriate ever happened. We just hung out in a dark globe together.
Okay, James. So, talking about memories, I just happened to have your high school yearbook.
That's wild.
So, class of 2003. I just happened to have the page.
Do you drive around with this all the time?
No.
Just in case we run into each other?
Believe it or not, I have almost every yearbook from all the years that I taught in my basement. So this idea came up at like 10 o'clock this morning or something.
Oh, okay.
So is this really you?
Yeah, no, I think it's a little Photoshop as well. I recently found my high school yearbook as well, and I can't believe for a second that's me.
I know.
Like,
Dub?
yep, I still go by that nickname.
You do?
Yep, J-Dub.
Awesome. And then...
Yeah, it's hard to believe. It's almost 20 years ago. Actually, that picture was probably 20 years ago, because I think it was taken before the senior year.
Really?
Yeah.
Then also we have Mr. and Mrs. Safranek, because we were both student council advisors. So I'm holding an astronaut blow up there, and their staff. We were co-advisors. So I'm sure you have good memories of her too. She's still teaching.
Yeah, she hasn't changed a bit. She looks the exact same.
It's
she's still
crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, she's still as awesome and wonderful as ever.
Yeah. So while we have the yearbook out, I thought that we'd do a little trivia contest, because I know you guys are big on trivia here. Right?
We are, actually. We have trivia on Wednesdays at 7 o'clock.
All right. So basically, I have 5 trivia questions for you. Okay.
This is going
to do with this yearbook and class of 2003. I thought maybe for each one you get right, I'll give you a Starbucks card. If you get them all right, I'll donate $100 to your favorite charity.
Okay.
I know you guys do a lot of charity work here.
Yeah, I mean, we try to do a lot of work with Children's Home of Easton.
Nice. Very nice.
I actually look forward to working with one of your charities this year for Oktoberfest. I'm going to talk more about that another time.
Okay. Sounds good.
Good. Perfect. All right, bring it on.
It's question number 1. Talking about the yearbook here. What was the name of your yearbook in 2003? Front cover right here.
I'd go ahead and say 2003, it's either Memories or Reunion. Memories? Let's go with Memories.
So what do I get every time you get the wrong?
You get a beer on me.
Okay.
Every time.
Sounds good, because it's called Bringing the Pieces Together.
Yeah, well, I don't know who chose that name. That's
all right.
That's nice.
Okay. In the yearbook, senior year, you always have like a class poll. Who is class clown, most likely to become president, school spirited, things like that. Who was the most school spirited in your class? And I'm not sure if you know that. I don't think this one's still a friend.
I'd say probably John Brady.
You got that right.
Well, he was our patriot running around with that flag.
Yep. Okay, so that was the male. How about the female?
Okay. What about was it Julia?
No. Good try.
What do we got?
Do you remember Rachel Griffith?
Yeah, actually, I do. She's awesome. I actually just talked to her recently enough. So.
Yep.
My
But
bad.
she's
Sorry,
the
Rachel.
owner of Apollo Grill.
Apollo, yep.
Awesome. Okay, so half credit on that one.
Oh.
Best to be stranded on an island with. And I swear this guy's a friend of yours, a good friend, but maybe we'll see.
That would be Glenn Revitt and Meredith Kilgannon.
You did it.
Yep.
All right. Starbucks card. Question 4. Who won the Freedom Liberty football game senior year, and what was the score? Because
Okay.
weren't you in the front row of the right
Yeah,
squad?
well, of course I was, but again, we're talking like it's been at least a fortnight since then. I'm gonna go ahead and just say it's always Freedom, and I'm gonna say 28-14.
24-0.
Freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Half credit.
Okay. All right. You get half a beer.
Okay. Last one, and then we're going to move on. Who was your principal, and who were the 4 assistant principals?
Okay. Well, I only really dealt with my assistant principal, and we actually dealt a lot together. I think the principal was, I believe it was Villani still.
Correct.
And then the principal that I always saw, because he was always, I got to sign all my fun yellow paperwork. I believe it was Mr. Washburn.
Okay.
Yeah.
1 out of 4 so far.
Yeah. I'm not gonna name the other 3.
Yeah.
I don't think I spent nowhere near as much time as I spent with Mr. Washburn. Like, and if you're watching this today, you can vouch for that.
All right. So you got Mr. Washburn. I don't know if you remember Mrs. Rivers. She was an assistant principal for a while. Mr. Donaher.
Okay. Yep.
And Miss Benkowski, who became principal, I think, right after Mr. Villani.
That name sounds very familiar.
Yep. Okay. Pretty good.
Yeah, not that great, actually. Sorry, you got a bunch of beer.
Yep. So how about enough with the memories, and we move on to the place, this awesome place that you got here, Boser Geist. So how did this come about? From graduating from Freedom, and I know you worked at some different places, and now you're a co-owner of this place.
I graduated from Freedom. I went to Northampton Community College for a little bit, ended up going to East Stroudsburg for a little bit. I got into a minor car accident closer to my, I think it was my junior year at ESU, and I ended up withdrawing from classes because at that point I was commuting to school just about every day, and I had the physical therapy for about closer to 2.5 months. So I withdrew from classes, and then I just stayed full-time working as a bartender at an Applebee's, of all things. And from there, I went to a smaller bar, helped a couple friends open a smaller place called Slate Quarry Hotel, where I worked there for a number of years. And somebody came in, asked me basically to be a bar manager of a corporate sports bar known as, I don't want to plug them at all, so we can just blank that part out. And it was just the right opportunity, so I went and I was the bar manager there for about 5+ years. And while I was working there, Michael and Eric, who are the owners here, the brewmaster and the CEO, they had opened this place. They were trying to work out the kinks. The brewmaster's wife, Lauren, she ended up reaching out to me and asking, hey, my husband just opened a bar. He needs some help with it. Can you help out? And of course I said, sure. She was a regular of mine when I worked at Slate. So that's how it all ties in, me coming back here.
Cool.
And then I was just helping out here and there. And then it came to a moment where they offered me a great opportunity and jumped at it. And here I am.
Awesome. Great story. This place is really unusual, but if you could just maybe bring up a couple things that makes your place pretty unique and a little bit different than a lot of other microbreweries in the area.
It's a German-themed place. We try to bring some German aspect to it. We've got a very beautiful beer hall, couple German items on the menu during different times. A lot of our beers we'll throw some German names in there. We have try to do some traditional beers. with like Bach beer, Doppelbock. We have a nice Marzen that's coming out in the next couple of months. Beyond that, our bar is 86 feet long. So it's the longest bar in the Lehigh Valley, longest active right now. We've got some wonderful food items as well. We got a cheesesteak egg rolls is very popular, as well as, which is right here.
Oh,
And we
awesome.
also have our guachos, which is waffle fries, salsa, jalapeno, green onions, bacon, sour cream, cheese. It's glorious in every which way. Our beers, we always have at least 14 beers on draft. Oh. And everything under the sun. We've got for instance, we have a Pilsner, we have a Golden Stout, which is our first stab at, and it's wonderful. We condition on coffee beans for about 3 weeks. It comes in at 9.2%, and it's got a wonderful flavor. We're actually aging it in a Maker's Mark barrel as well. We're looking for a November bourbon barrel aged beer release. We also have a beer called Swole Whip, which is basically pineapple and coconut. It's a IPA for people that don't like IPAs. It's a gateway IPA. It's like marijuana, except not illegal technically still in parts of the. Anyway, moving on. Then we've got a Raz, which is a nice sour ale.
Nice.
And that's part of our TPS report series. Some of our names as well. When you come in here and hang out, it's just you'll notice that there's some weird names. TPS report is from the movie The Office Space,
Okay.
and we call it our Pucker series.
Cool.
I also should circle back with the Pilsner. It's a hopped Pilsner. That's why it's got a cloudy color and it's not your traditional straw colored.
Nice.
Yeah. We have live music on Fridays and Saturdays as well, and trivia on Wednesdays, and comedy night the last Thursday of every month, and open mic night the first and third Thursday of every month.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I have to say I have been here, with the wife, and food was awesome, and drink the same. So, back to the 14 beers that you have going at one time, are those all 14 that you guys make?
Yes, it's all beer that we make in-house.
And then, how often do you have a release of a new beer? How does that happen?
Honestly, so the tanks behind the bar are filled up with beer. They've got over 300 gallons. They're hooked up directly to the tap system, so you're getting the freshest beer possible. We don't add any preservatives, any extra additives or anything into our beer. So the larger tanks, that's every, I'd say, 4 to 6 weeks. We change one out. And then our small batch system is roughly, honestly, it's weekly. We put out probably between 3 and 4 new beers every week.
Wow. That's cool.
We
so
learned-
everything is done right here?
Everything's done right here. We learned early on that, it's not really a matter of what we want to do a lot of traditional beers and whatnot, but the fact is, everybody wants the craziest, newest IPA. So, but we've got a nice selection. We'll definitely give any other brewery their run for their money with our beer.
Okay. How about what you have going on here?
So this was a collaboration series that we did with County Seat, who's also in the Silk Mill, our neighbors over here, and we donated 300 gallons of a coffee stout, to them back in 2019, maybe the beginning of 2020, and they turned it into, in about 18, 19 months, they turned it into a coffee whiskey. And it is 90%, it's 90 proof. It is all kinds of glorious. They're putting out some pretty wonderful products as well. They've got a barrel-aged gin, which I'm not a huge gin fan, but it's phenomenal, guys. It's absolutely worth trying.
Nice. If I was to recommend this place, for food, to a friend of mine or something, what do you think would be the best appetizer or two and the best entree? I know we talked a little about the appetizers, but
I would definitely say, we have, or I would also say our pretzel. It's a giant pretzel.
I've had it.
Entrees,
awesome.
I would absolutely push our burgers. There are beer grain fed burgers. So we've been donating our spent grain to a local farmer for the past couple of years, and finally the cows they've had enough, and we're getting full circle of life beer grain fed burgers from cows. Yeah, it's wonderful. From cows, yeah.
And I've had a few of those too. They're all good. Awesome. And then can somebody rent this place out? Like if they have a private event, if we're going to do a fundraiser for
Of course.
one of our charities or something like that?
Absolutely. We've done a couple weddings now. We actually have another 2 weddings booked, one in October, one in November. We've had a couple private events beyond that. We've done a couple bottle shares, bourbon events with Lehigh Valley Bourbon Drinkers Group. We've done some, we've done baby showers, bridal showers, typically like Sunday mornings. We do brunches also, like at least like once every month now, which are pretty wonderful. We're actually doing one at the end of the month for the Children's Home of Easton again. We're in collaboration with them. We're constantly trying to do whatever we can to keep driving different events here.
Nice. So the main people that you have here, you have a beer master, or
Yes.
is that what he's called?
So we've got a brewmaster.
Brewmaster. You have your cook.
We've got my chef back there.
Okay. You're the chief operating officer.
I'm in charge of all operations, front of house, and
Eric. What's his last name?
Tomasic. He's our CEO.
CEO.
He's basically our tech guy.
Okay. And then his dad?
His dad, Tom Tomasic, he is the everything in between. He's the this and that manager.
So that's your main staff, and then your serving staff.
And then I've got 2 additional cooks in the kitchen. I have 2 food runners and probably about 15 bartenders.
Wow.
Bartenders, servers, it's interchangeable.
Okay.
Everybody works together.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, you have a great place here. It's great that over all these years, we were able to kind of reestablish, our friendship. And I also want to say we had an Oktoberfest charity fundraiser last year, and you guys both came over. You not only provided the beer, you brought do you have a name for your beer mobile?
Let's just call it we call it the box.
The box. So you brought that over, and you were serving like 3 different types of your beers from it. That was great. And you donated everything. Great to see that you're giving back, to the community and everything. Just really continue to be proud of you, buddy.
It means a lot. It means a lot, Bill. It means a lot, reconnecting with you in the past couple of years. Because I always looked up to you. I think you're a wonderful guy. So the fact that we could reconnect, and the fact that you asked us if we'd be interested in helping out with Oktoberfest this past year, and I told you, again, we could, if you have another Oktoberfest this year, we'll gladly participate as well.
That would be awesome. And then also just want to finish up with our new VIP client card, and you guys are the newest sponsor of it. So what kind of offer are you making on the?
So it's not to be 100% confirmed yet, but I'm thinking it's going to be 5 off of 25 when you come in. But I need to clear it up with my partners.
Okay, sounds good. We'd love to have you on board.
We're honored to be a part of it. I already reached out to my other partners, and they said that they're thrilled about it as well. Unfortunately, I was going on vacation this week, so we haven't actually sat down to talk about anything.
That's fine. Just want to thank you again, James. It's been great seeing you. I was here last week just prepping for this. Had a fun time last week here too, and I hope to do a lot more stuff here.
I'll tell you, if I can actually grab my beer book, I'd like to read you something you actually wrote for me when I was in 2003.
Oh, no.
It said, out of all the kids that I've taught and advised, I would have to say you were kind of like my success story. I don't exactly know why or how things came to be and when we first met through student council, but there was something that I saw in you that most teachers did not see. You're a dedicated hard worker that turned out to be one of the best student council members I ever advised. Now, I don't know if you say that to every kid, but, it felt good to hear that. I could trust you, joke with you, and confide in you. You made me laugh and always lightened up my day. You took care of me, coffee, as I took care of you, passes. We had a lot of great times with homecomings, freedom, liberties, etc. Who else could I leave a conference early to go out to lunch with? Pizza Hut buffet. Always keep in touch, especially with you, me, and Josh, and good luck with life. your teacher, advisor, friend, Safranek. And that's something that I always held dear to me because that's always considered you a friend as well. And that was we had some fun times without a doubt.
For sure.
So
That was nice. Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
Yep. All right, everybody. That concludes my first podcast. There's a reason why James was on here, for my first. So we have a lot more to do, but stay tuned. Thanks for watching.